It's starting to get hot, but it's not too bad in here right now. Next week, it's supposed to hit 100. Let me see that real quick. Let me see. It says it's 80 right now. Feels like 80. 92 tomorrow, 94. I'm filming this Thursday. 92 Friday, 94. Saturday, 97. Sunday, 95. Monday, 93. Tuesday. 100 on Friday, June 12th. All the 90s, so we might be entering the hot zone. But yeah. Throw little hand motions in if I remember more than just this one time. Yeah. Still playing Resident Evil Requiem. I put a post up. I'm gonna do a little mini kind of. I'm gonna throw like a second impressions in of it. I'm definitely towards the end. Every time I save though, it's not telling me how much, what time I'm at. Look how much time I put in. I'd probably save it like 10, 11 hours, something like that. But I'm still enjoying it, but I put this on Instagram too. There's a section, there's gonna be little spoilers here as well. Not really spoilers, but there's a section where you play as Leon. And it's straight up just action horror, and it's too much. In my opinion, that's just me, I guess. Well, other people might feel the same way, but there are so many enemies in this area that you gotta deal with. Especially this one part. When you're trying to find these pieces to a device or whatever. But, and it was like, it plays fine. It controls fine. You get plenty of stuff. I'm playing on normal, modern, normal difficulty or whatever the fuck it is. You're getting hooked up. You're getting plenty of ammunition and health items and stuff. But, and obviously controls fine, but I'm just like, the stuff with Grace, in that beginning big section where you play as her for a chunk of time. It's like old school Resident Evil. It's legitimately pretty creepy for a bit. Good creepiness, which for me, and I've talked about this in the past, you don't get a lot of that in Resident Evil. For me, I've never got a ton of creepiness up until 7. I was like, damn, this is legitimately a creepy game. And Resident Evil Revelations 2 is actually pretty creepy to me. They always have good atmosphere, but I never find them creepy. Like the way a Silent Hill makes me feel it's creepy. Now, of course, with horror, some people are going to find Resident Evil creepy. They're not going to find Silent Hill creepy, But 7 was creepy. This one in the beginning was definitely creepy, and then like that all went away. Like very like Resident Evil 5 to me, except just much better controls. You can actually move and stuff. Like I said, it still controls perfectly fine, but it was a lot. And then there was a cool sequence at the end of that area, which I did enjoy. I can't say I didn't enjoy playing it. It was, it dragged on a little too long for me, and there was a lot of fucking enemies. So it was just like, okay, action horror. I'm not creeped out at anything anymore. I'm just blowing everybody away, which is fine in a way, because Leon, you expect, is going to be a bit overpowered at this point. But then you get to the next location, and then a little bit of the creepiness comes back, but it mellows down into more survival horror action again. But a little similar to the Silent Hill 2 remake in the hospital Otherworld, where the enemies were just coming, and I was like, oh my god, is this just going to be an enemy fest from here on out? And it was not, but thankfully. But obviously I'm still enjoying the game a ton. I am using Grace again at this point. I will do a review of it when I complete it. I still want to film a gameplay. Possibly tomorrow. Or I might just wait till I complete it. And then just I have a bunch of saves. Because I wanted to, if I do a gameplay, before I complete it, I want to go back to like a little earlier part of the game. Or at least fairly early. But I might just end up waiting if I'm that close to completing it. Still enjoyable. Now, it was cool in the beginning because you were kind of swapping from Grace to Leon. And then you had a longer, much longer Grace sequence, which I really liked. It feels like old school Resident Evil while feeling fresh. It was pretty creepy overall. And there was shorter Leon sections, which was like, okay, you're playing as badass Leon here. You're kicking ass. It's fun. They were fairly short sections. And then there was that part when you get to the next section after the first big section. You get to the next big area. I'm not going to, like, spoil. In the review, you'll hear more of that, but now I'm not going to. And it was a very long... I was at a point where I was like, am I going to play as her again? And you play as a young version of her, too. I guess I can kind of just... I will save it for the review. This stuff was in the trailer anyway, but I'm just not going to say it here. If you play the game, you probably know the area I'm talking about. But at the end of that area, there is actually a really cool sequence that I will talk about more and kind of reveal it in my review. But overall, I'm still enjoying it plenty. I would definitely say it's better than Village. I'm not ready to say it's better than 7. Just cracked my knuckles pretty good there. But yeah, I put a thing on Instagram, like, I really want a little more survival horror. Because it takes, and I was saying in my impressions, like, I was like, it's like, you're going from her stuff to his. It's a nice balance because they were kind of boom, 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 using one then the other. Then it turned, and kind of very quickly, boom, boom, boom. Then you're using Grace for a bit, but I like that shit, so I was like, cool. And then the long Leon section. It's not that it was rough. Like I said, gameplay-wise and everything else is completely fine. It's just they started just enemies, and it dragged on a little long. At least I thought so. So overall, having fun. Like I said, I'm plowing through it because I kind of knew I would, because it's a game that I was going to want to keep playing every chance I got, I should have, I did pull some weeds earlier today. I was outside pulling some weeds, but I want to pull some more, but I was just not in the mood to. But I have to get the lawn cut one of these days, so I'm going to have to do that in the early morning before that. Don't like cutting the lawn in 90-degree weather. I mean, I bring my water out here and stuff, but... And like I've said before, I cut this lawn in sections. I usually cut the main front going down. There's like a strip that's maybe wider. You can't see. Wider than this. Like this. Something like that. This big lawn goes down, and then there's one big strip that goes up. A big section that goes up and then to the other road. Which I've talked about in the past. I do not like cutting that. There's a bunch of rocks there and stuff. So I gotta be careful. There's cars zooming up and down. You gotta be careful. A lot of it is like rocks, and then there's the kind of culvert thing where it rains, it pulls through and goes underneath the little streets and goes down. I only cut a bit of it, and then I bring the weed whacker up there and get the rest. Because I don't want to catch anything with the lawnmower and send it flying into a moving car or something. I don't want to get hit by any cars. And then there's the little backyard that I typically do with either that section or the main lawn. The backyard's like a kind of just a big kind of square type thing, and then there's a little bit of strips going around past the deck and then up towards the other side. I could do the back lawn in 10 minutes. Less than that, probably. Probably about 10. Maybe less. I'll have to count next time. Clock it. I do have a fun video I'm going to make. I don't know how it's going to view, but I'm just excited to do it. I might film it actually after this one if I'm feeling, because it's one that's going to be filmed in the garage. So if I want to just go down and do it, I'm going to do it. It's not going to be an overly long video, but it's kind of popped in my head. It's something I want to do. So I hope it does get viewed, but there's not going to be gum, so the chances of viewing that well are probably slim, but it might be intriguing for you guys, so we'll see how it goes. But yeah. It was funny, I talked about in the Sony State of Play ramble I did with the drink review I was talking about. Stuntman Hollywood got announced. I was like, holy shit. And then I started watching reactions of it. Just the show as a whole, right? And there were so many people that had no idea what Stuntman even was. Now, of course, if you're younger, the last Stuntman came out, Stuntman Ignition, I think came out in 07. The first one was in 02. And I don't know if the Game Boy Advance version of the first one was in 02 or 03. But even with when you see that trailer, like personally, I already knew, because I didn't know, but I looked in a section and I knew. When I talked about the comment section, I saw somebody mention Stuntman. I was like, wait, what? But then I saw what I was like, okay, this is definitely Stuntman. But the way they did this trailer was so great. Even the people that know Stuntman were like, what is this? And then they kind of got it as it is towards the end of it. But it looks really fucking cool. I'm excited about it. But it's kind of sad that so many people, some people were like, this is a really fresh new idea. I was like, there was 2 of these games already. This is not a fresh idea. But I guess if you were born any time after 2000, you probably didn't check out either of them. It's possible we could play Ignition. I mean, I could see this being a game you're playing younger, even though it's a fucking trial and error game that's going to piss you off. But there were people that, when I saw people getting excited for it, I was like, yes. Like when I see people get excited for games that I like, a franchise I like, I start to get more excited. But that was my game of the show. Take your God of Wars, take your Ace Combats, your Controls, your Wolverine, get the fuck out of here. There's a new Stuntman. It is cool that they have the licenses. They got Death Race from the trailer, Miami Vice, Fast and Furious, Knight Rider, Back to the Future. Death Race I didn't know at first. And Miami Vice I should have, but I didn't. Knight Rider, Back to the Future, and then I think I said it. I was like, was that Fast? Is it Fast and Furious? So that's cool that you're gonna actually be playing through the actual kind of movies instead of the fake ones. That is cool, even though I do like the fake ones. So. They're all Universal. I guess they got a license with Universal partnership or whatever. So I need to check out some other Universal properties that have cars in them that they could use. Because I assume it wouldn't just be, I guess it was 5. They usually have 6. Maybe they only do have 5. I don't know. Going to Walmart tomorrow. See if I can find any fresh drinks. Maybe I'll grab another Celsius. I don't know. I'm on a string of 3 Celsius in a row there. I didn't hate. I didn't necessarily love, but I didn't hate them. There's supposed to be some. Now I know I've seen some people on Instagram and elsewhere talking about the I think it's Ghost 7-Up one flavor. I have not seen that down here, unfortunately. So I'd love to get that. I still got to do my energy drink ramble soon. This month. It'll most likely be. It's going to be a lot of rambling on. I need to look at all these brands again and kind of remember a decent amount that I've had from each one. So it can refresh my memory. I'm going to talk a lot about Alani, Monster. Not even necessarily Rockstar. Monster, Alani, C4, Ghost, and Bang, Rain. I've done a decent amount of too. Sounds like a plane making a move. I gotta water the plants after this too. Our plants have taken a little beating. I had them in the greenhouse. I don't know if I talked about this. The strawberries were fine. The herbs we had in there were fine. I've since taken everything out because it's gotten hot enough. Now the tomato plants are growing, but them and the jalapeno. We also have zucchini, but they're in the ground, so they weren't affected by this. They had like these little, I don't know, aphids or something on them that were all over the jalapeno, but they were on the tomatoes. I don't know. I've been hearing that there's been some issues with people growing vegetables this season because you can tell the tomato plants are not dead, but they're very late. They can tell they're not at full strength. Now we've gotten some off the one, and the other ones have a bunch on them, but they're not ripening yet. I'm hoping as the weather really heats up, they all start to ripen. So they're not booming like they were last year. The strawberries are fine. They're just starting to just flower, but they did not get affected by this thing. The jalapeno is kind of fucked. There's actually a tomato plant growing in the jalapeno plant pot. I don't know if I don't think I had a tomato plant in there last season in that pot. So I don't know if a bird got in there and grabbed something off the tomato plant and dropped it in there, a little seed or something, or there was just because we did have I think some. No, we didn't have any seeds. I don't know. Weird. That's gonna take that over. I might as well just rip the jalapeno out because we planted from seed some of the jalapenos that start to pop, and I put them in a bigger pot. So. We still need to get an eggplant. We'll probably just get one that's not. We have seeds, I think, but it'd be easier just kind of get one that's kind of ready to go. It's already June. I mean, with the greenhouse, well, I might have to spray out that greenhouse. I don't know what the fuck those things were. I mean, there's a skylight in there that I'll open when it got hot. It's possible a bug or something got in there, and you know how that goes from there. But I do need to water them. I thought I saw a spider for a second. I was like, moved down, but it was just this little bar thing. What the fuck? The amount of spiders in the crawl space. We have to get our UV light changed. That's part of our water system. Helps kill whatever the fuck it kills. I forget. Water softener systems, UV light. You have to change it every year. But there's a ton of. We haven't been in the crawl space a little bit. Because you got to change you got to put more salt in the thing too. So these spiders, I don't know what they're called. I gotta look them up. They're not poisonous or anything, but they're all over that area. And I'm like, oh god, I'm fucking grabbing stuff in my head and shit. Because when you first go in the crawl space, that's the biggest part, is that beginning part. You can't stand up in there. But I'm kind of like this in those points. And then the further you go in, it's like, no, I gotta sit down. And then it's not to a point where you could probably kind of not crawl on your belly, but kind of just be like, if you want to get to the far corners of it, which I'd have no reason to do that. But I think I said this maybe in a prior video. When we first got here, we had the AC guy here in the main units in the crawl space. And we were just down there too. We're just, checking it out just to get some tips, things we could handle ourselves. And we're like, oh, is this cramped? He's like, this is like a mansion compared to some of the ones I've gone in. There's ones where they actually have a little kind of rolling cart type thing that they slide on and go in because it's literally that much space. Yeah. There's a couple of things. I gotta weed out more by the street. I do have the weed killer as well that I might use, but I do like pulling the shit out of the ground. The weed killer obviously just kills it, but then it's just all there dead anyway. But yeah, September for those games, man. The Silent Hill Townfall comes out. I'm interested in that. Wolverine comes out in September. I think Ace Combat might be. That Ace Combat 8 might be October. There was another game, too. Maybe Control is in the fall as well. Control Resonant. There was something else. It might have been that Onimusha game. Pretty good end of the year. I'm interested in Silent Hill. I am interested in Wolverine, but that's not probably one I'd get. The problem with the Silent Hill with me is it's like, fuck, I need to get it. Now, when the date comes, I might not get it day one. I might check out some more gameplay and see what users are thinking and see how the reviews are going as well. I take it in from everybody. Like, I want to know what the players are thinking of it. Just regular gamers. I want to think of what the reviewers think. Because critics, they're reviewing again, they're looking at it through, or at least most of them should be. I know there's people that have their biases and shit when it comes to games, but, or anything, movies, any kind of thing, franchise shit, but I like when the reviewers, because they're looking at it through a game reviewing lens. So for me, like, I might give something the benefit of the doubt, like a Silent Hill. I might grade something like Silent Hill or Resident Evil or Stuntman on a little bit more of a curve, right? Like, I'm going to be a little more lenient if stuff's bothering me a little bit, right? When you're a reviewer, you should just be impartial, or whatever the word is, unbiased to anything. Like, I'm coming in as a game reviewer. I gotta look at it from a technical aspect and everything else. I mean, game reviewing's so different than it used to be like 20 years ago, 25 years ago. I just like to see scores. I almost like do it like Rotten Tomatoes, because you know Rotten Tomatoes. It's funny when people blame Rotten Tomatoes for something, even though Rotten Tomatoes just brings in the reviews from everybody else and gives it a score, the overall review score. They're not reviewing it themselves, and they might actually have one reviewer. I don't know, but everybody's like, I don't trust Rotten Tomatoes. Rotten Tomatoes is just a site. They take reviews from all different outlets and put them in one thing. Same thing with they take all the users' reviews. When the users and the critics are both say something sucks, then I'm like, oh. If they're split either way, if one thinks it sucks, one thinks it's great, I'll be like, okay, you're going to have to form your own opinion on it. Although I've liked movies that the critics and the users hate. But, that He-Man movie comes out this week. That looks pretty good. I wouldn't see it in the theater, but I've been hearing early reviews. It's that it has that goofiness to it, which some like supposed fans were like, there's too much comedy. It's like too much goofiness and shit. I'm like, did you ever watch the He-Man cartoon in the 80s? That fucking show was corny as fuck. Dude, it was like one of the corniest shows on top of a bunch of other things. You know, I enjoyed it when I was a kid, and I've watched it years later, and I watched it again. I'm like, oh my god, like, but it is corny as hell, He-Man. She-Ra was probably more serious. It's like funny. It's like, oh, there's too many jokes. Like, do you ever watch fucking the He-Man cartoon? But it looks pretty cool. Like I said, I wouldn't see it in the theater. I'll check it out on video, on streaming. But that's how that goes. Once I finish with Resident Evil, it's like, what do I go to next? I'm trying to decide what I want to go to next. I might go back to Final Fantasy 16. But I might go back to like an Alone in the Dark or Alan Wake 2. It's crazy though. Like that's the kind of level for me that I put a Silent Hill, and really it's just Silent Hill, Resident Evil. Even Fatal Frame, I'll go away from and come back to. And I love the Fatal Frame games. But Silent Hill and Resident Evil, I start playing them, I gotta finish them. Like I can't put them down for months and come back to it. It is going to be completed. Maybe I take a couple of days where I don't play it. But it's not like Alan Wake I haven't touched in well over a year. Alan Wake 2, I feel like it's been over a year. Same thing with Alone in the Dark. And I was enjoying them, but I can just put them down and not go back to them. Resident Evil and Silent Hill, that's why for me, they're at the top of the survival horror food chain. Now, I feel like a lot of people, that would be for a lot of people, but there's something about those games, those franchises. You know what, Dead Space is another one. That any of the old Dead Spaces, and even the remake, even though I didn't hate the remake, but I wasn't, like, in love with it. This was too much of the original, you know, it wasn't, like, super fresh. Like, the Resident Evil 2 and 3 remakes felt, I mean, those were also coming from PlayStation 1 games, you know, so it's a little different, but there was, I guess, no real reason to remake Dead Space, if you think about it, but those games I would start and have to play through. Because they were just fun, and I didn't necessarily find those creepy. But the gameplay was great. It was just cool games. Although the first Alan Wake I played through continuously. This one's a little... that one I think was more streamlined, more linear. This was a little more open. Alone in the Dark I was moving along with nicely, too. And that's one where you can play as the two characters. So I started off as the... whatever character Jodie Comer is playing. I think that's her name. And then the other guy, David Harbour, he plays him as well. I forget the names of their characters. Now, Ghostwire Tokyo, which I consider a horror game, not survival horror, but that I played through. Like that game I talked about a bunch. I fucking love that game. That's an underrated game to me. It's almost a bit of a hidden gem. What else was there? I played through Silent Hill 2 Remake immediately. I played through Silent Hill F immediately. No, even like Resident Evil 7 and Village, when I first got those, it's like, boom, done. When I got Silent Hill 4, boom, done, 3, you know, all that shit. I gotta join up for that. So 3 months of PC Game Pass soon. I'm setting it up to so it's I'm still subscribed to it when I'm in Florida because I'm gonna obviously have the laptop. I'm gonna have the laptop down there. Obviously, I'm gonna have my equipment and be filming vid, so I can play stuff on Steam if I want to, and through Game Pass as well. And if I need something to do if I'm getting bored, because like I've said in the past, I kind of start to get bored down there after like a week, because it's just gonna be me going down this time. So, I mean, I'll go into town a few times. I'll go to the flea market that I go to there, and I'll go by the mall. It's so I still like getting down there. It's just I hit a point where you're like, okay, I want to get. That's always am. You know, it's like, oh, I want to be home now. You know. That's why the Myrtle Beach one was nice. It was 2 days. You know, boom, very short one. It's only 3 hours away as well, which is nice. I do want to get back to. We both want to get back to Savannah soon. Went there for my 40th. That was a really gorgeous city. Really good. It was a good time there. It's a nice city. It was cool. A lot of cool stuff to do. I'll go a few more minutes here. I'm at half an hour. It's not getting too hot in here. When is 90. We have a fan in here. We got obviously you can see the treadmill. I'll hop on the treadmill. It's like you need this fan going. It's still not enough. But you push yourself. You swim balls. You got your water up there. I haven't been into town in a little bit. Well, actually, no, when was the last time I went to town, actually? Oh, maybe, actually, no. I was in town. Fuck. I was in town after my last doctor's visit, which was May 14th. I went into town, but I can't remember. I think I only went into the one antique store. I got lunch, then went into one antique store. I did not go to Antiques and Geeks or the Flea Marketeers. I just went to the Antique Collectors Mall. I haven't been to those in a while. It sucks, all those quarter games. There's videos where I was getting those games for a quarter a piece. Those are like gone. I got a decent amount out of there, but somebody else must have got in there and cleaned that shit out. That's how you get rid of your stuff. You know? Like, let's be honest. Because you'll see stuff in these places. I've seen stuff in there. We got here we were here in April. She was here a couple times after the house was bought. Doing stuff, going over things. Then we both came down in April of 24. I was ripping up the carpet in the two bedrooms. We were doing stuff. And we left and we came back officially. May 31st was the first day. So it's been 2 years. I would have first went to these antique stores in probably early June. And you'll see some of the same stuff in there. Now that was there. It's like, I love those places, but there's some of it that's like depressing in a way. Because you're seeing stuff that these people will never be able to get rid of. You can say it's free, and it will still be sitting there. It's just stuff that people don't want. And I know this a little bit as an eBay seller. There's stuff that I just have that I grabbed from a garage sale 5 years ago. Tried to sell a couple of times, 5-6 times. Never sold, kind of just put it in a bin. You know. Speaking of eBay, they just did a new thing. I haven't listed a coin in a little bit. I'm going to be again. But there's things where you gotta, I describe the condition of the coin. If it's in good condition, I just say it is. But I've sold a couple of coins that have like milk spots on them and other imperfections that I am obviously mentioning because I would not. I'm mentioning them in the description, like the title description that you would see before you even click on it. But there's a thing where you have to put in like this. They did some stuff, changing up some stuff with coins. And apparently they're changing up some stuff because I've talked about this. I watched some eBay resellers. I watch like eBay related stuff, some resellers, some people that critique resellers and stuff. Like they're not critiquing them because they're reselling. They're critiquing their methods and some of the advice they give. But some of the things they do, I guess some people find some resellers a little unethical and shady. But apparently, because I charge free shipping. I feel like I mentioned this in a video. I had to have mentioned this in a video. I forget. I really. But some people, yeah, I've definitely talked about this. I think some people will charge, we'll say $8.99 shipping, and if it costs $6.99 to ship, they're getting an extra $2 for themselves, right? Now eBay combines the shipping with the item price, and they'll take the fee out of the combined total. But now apparently they're taking, if you charge $8.99, $6.99, at least from what I've been hearing, they're just taking that extra money. I don't know if that, see, I always charge free, except 2 times recently. One where I forgot to charge free, and it was one of the flawed coins, but the price was already so incredible that it sold within 10 minutes, and that just calculated the shipping. That's what it would do if you don't hit it. It just calculates it, so there was no It was what it was. I didn't make anything off of the shipping. And then another time, I just charged $2 to ship, which is less than what it would cost to ship anyway, just to kind of offset some of the fees and shit. Or I'm just trying to offset some of the shipping costs because shipping's gone up. But they, apparently eBay's taking this money. I could be wrong. That's what people are saying, but I wouldn't be surprised. And then that guy from GameStop tried to sell him, but the board for eBay rejected that bid. I don't know if they're going to try anything else on it, but it's because some of these eBay kind of people have big sub bases that do eBay reselling and are very big in the community. Interviewed this guy, and he seemed to have a lot of good stuff to say. But they ultimately rejected that bid. They might try a hostile takeover. I love how that works. Like, it's so weird. Like, well, they just didn't do it this way, and now you have to give in type shit. It's just like so weird. But yeah, I think what we're doing this weekend, it's gonna be cloudy. We want to go into Raleigh. There's a place in Raleigh that I guess mimics like a French village, and it has a mini Eiffel Tower. I don't know how many feet it is. Maybe it's like 30, 40 feet high. But it looks really cool, and it looks like they have a lot of cool kind of restaurants and shops there. I want to go there. Maybe one of the next weekends coming up. I said we're going up to New York in the beginning of July. That's going to be cool. She's going to go see her family and some friends. I'm going to stay with my one friend. We're going to be for like 3-4 days. Well, 3 full days, and I'm going to leave this Sunday. So we'll be there probably most of that day. We'll probably leave maybe 6, 7 at night. I think I talked about this too at some point. The drive down to Florida, which we did last summer. Oh no, I'm sorry, we did that for Christmas. Duh. I went down in summer by train. It's such a much mellower ride than going to New York. Going to New York, it's like once you hit DC, Baltimore, it can be rough. Virginia can be rough too. And then, of course, once you get to Staten Island in New York, it's like, here we go. You got to get there at a weird time. It could be 2 in the morning. You'd still get hit traffic. And then you got the bridges, the belt, Sun State. It's like, oh, God. It's annoying. But anyway, we'll get to get up there. Might get a little game of GoldenEye. I'll go to Book Off a few times, buy some Blu-rays. I said this in a prior video, definitely. A couple of my friends are not going to be there. They're going to be going on vacation with their families. But I'll still be able to see like 4 people. 4 or 5 friends. But yeah. Should be a good time. And then my one friend's coming down here in August. Birds out there. I think I mentioned this. Maybe I didn't actually mention this. The deer ate our hostas plants. I noticed like 2 of them. Like, what the hell happened here? So I'm like, because we have deer around here. They're playing in the lawn during the snow. You'll see. We've seen them. We haven't seen them in a bit, but we've seen them a good amount. My fiance was driving to work one morning and saw like 20 across the road. But I could be exaggerating. It was probably 10. But they ate them, and apparently it's like candy to them. But they were taking the food out of the fucking bird feeder. I thought it was the squirrels. Now the squirrels chewed holes in some of the other ones, and then the seed fell out. So we got a squirrel-proof one that they can't. It's like weight activated. They jump on it, and it pulls down and it blocks blocks the holes that the birds eat out of. So we bought a bench for them to put seed in. We throw some peanuts out. The deer will eat the peanuts if the squirrels don't finish them off. We want to get a camera to set up in the window just to see. Because the window, our window, bedroom window, looks right out at this thing. So the one hydrangea tree is there, so it blocks it, but you'll be able to see anybody coming. You can see that's where the cat has her little chair. We have a chair. Pull Blim's cat looks out the window. And when we let her out on the front porch, she'll watch them too. It's harder to see from there. But when we let her out on the back deck, she can't really. You'll see some squirrels back there with them in the front. But the squirrels will flip the freaking little bench feeder we got them. Well, I'm like, these deer are eating the bird seed. They're probably sucking it right out of the things. Because I left it out one night, and it was empty in the morning. I was like, it ain't the squirrels. Because the things, I saw them get on there a few times. I couldn't do anything. So I hopped off. Even though they have the shit in the bench, they still gotta try. But anyway, this is a pretty long ramble, 40 plus minutes. But yeah, this is a gum chewing long ramble in the garage.